The clock on the bedside table glowed 12:43 a.m. when the shrill vibration of a phone shattered the stillness of the night. Liam groaned softly, half awake, groping for the phone on his nightstand. For a moment, his tired mind thought it was an alarm, but when his eyes adjusted, he saw the screen flashing, unknown number. He hesitated. No one called him this late, no one except maybe the hospital, or his boss if something went wrong at the warehouse. His heart skipped. He'd been through enough unexpected calls to know they rarely brought good news. Still, something made him swipe to answer. "Hello," he said, his voice rough with sleep. There was a long silence, then a shaky voice, barely above a whisper. "Please, please, you have to come. I don't know who else to call. Please." He sat up, alert now. "Who is this?" But the voice was gone. All that remained was a faint static and what sounded like soft crying before the line went dead. Liam frowned, staring at the phone. For a few seconds, he just sat there in confusion. Maybe it was a prank. Or a wrong number. He glanced at the closed door of the small bedroom across the hall where his daughter Emma slept peacefully, clutching her stuffed rabbit. He should go back to sleep, he told himself. But he couldn't shake the tremor in that voice, the kind of pain that didn't sound made up. He checked his recent calls. The number was unfamiliar, but it showed an address briefly before disappearing: Willow Creek Apartments. He knew that place, a crumbling old complex near the edge of town, the kind of area people drove past without stopping. Drugs, eviction notices, broken windows, it wasn't the kind of place you wanted to visit at night. Liam ran a hand through his hair, thinking. Maybe someone was in trouble. Maybe someone was hurt. What if that person didn't have anyone else? He glanced again toward Emma's room. "I'll only be gone a few minutes," he whispered to himself, as if convincing his own conscience. He scribbled a note, "Went to help someone, be right back. Love you, baby," and left it on the kitchen table. Pulling on his old jacket, he stepped out into the biting cold. The streets were quiet, the kind of eerie silence that made the hum of his car engine sound louder than usual. His mind kept replaying the call, those few broken words, and the image of someone desperate, alone, maybe scared out of their mind. By the time he reached Willow Creek, the clock on his dashboard read 1:15 a.m. The building loomed in front of him, its paint peeling, the lights flickering weakly in the hallway windows. He parked by the curb and took a deep breath before stepping out. As he climbed the stairs to the second floor, he noticed trash scattered in the hall, muffled voices behind doors, and the faint smell of cigarettes mixed with damp air. His phone still showed the faint trace of the number, apartment 4B. When he reached it, the door was slightly open. His gut tightened. "Hello," he called, voice low but firm. No response, just the faint, heartbreaking sound of a baby crying. Liam pushed the door open slowly. The living room was dim, lit only by a small lamp. Dishes piled in the sink, blankets tossed on the couch, and in the middle of it all sat a young woman on the kitchen floor, clutching a small baby to her chest. Her face was pale, streaked with tears, her dark hair messy and damp from sweat. "Who are you?" she gasped when she saw him, startled and frightened. I got a call," Liam said quickly, raising his hand slightly to show he meant no harm. "Someone said they needed help. It came from this address." The woman blinked, confused, and then shook her head. "I didn't call you. I was trying to reach my brother. Her voice cracked, trembling. "He never comes when I need him." Liam took a step forward. "It's okay. You don't have to be scared. I'm not here to hurt you." She looked at him for a long moment, her breathing ragged. The baby began to fuss louder, tiny fists waving. I didn't know what to do. He won't stop crying, and I have no formula left. I've been up since last night. I thought if I called my brother, he could bring some, but..." She stopped, pressing her lips together, embarrassed. Liam's chest tightened. He recognized that kind of exhaustion. The hollow, desperate look of someone trying to survive alone. "Do you mind if I help?" he asked softly. She hesitated but finally nodded. Within minutes, he was warming water in the kettle and mixing it with the last bit of formula powder he found on the counter. The woman sat nearby, rocking the baby gently, her eyes red and heavy. "What's his name?" Liam asked. "Eli," she murmured. "He's 2 months old." "That's a good name," he said with a faint smile, handing her the bottle. "I have a daughter, Emma. She's 6 now. I remember those nights." She took the bottle, and for a moment, their eyes met, hers full of disbelief, his filled with quiet compassion. They sat in silence as the baby finally began to drink, the tension in the room melting little by little. When Eli fell asleep in her arms, the woman let out a shaky sigh. "Thank you," she whispered. "You didn't have to come. I'm sorry I dragged you here. I didn't even mean to." Liam shook his head. "Don't apologize. You needed someone. That's enough reason." She looked at him like she wasn't used to people saying things like that. "I'm Maya," she said softly. "I used to have everything together. Then Eli's dad left. My job let me go when I couldn't find childcare. I've been trying, but," she broke off, her voice cracking again. Liam listened quietly, not offering pity, just understanding. "You don't have to explain," he said. "Sometimes life just knocks you down harder than you expect." For the next hour, he fixed her leaky faucet, cleaned a few dishes, and made sure the baby's blanket was warm. She watched him with tired eyes, maybe wondering why a stranger cared at all. When it was time for him to leave, she followed him to the door. "Thank you for coming," she said quietly. "You could have ignored that call. Most people would have." Liam smiled faintly, slipping his hands into his pockets. "Maybe, but I've been on the other side of that call before. And I know what it feels like when no one answers." She looked down, her lip trembling. "You're a good man." He gave a small shrug. "Just someone who knows what it's like to need help." When he stepped outside, the air was even colder, but something inside him felt lighter. As he walked back to his car, the baby's soft coo echoed faintly through the window, a small sound, but somehow, it warmed him. He didn't know then that one mistaken call would weave their lives together in ways he couldn't yet imagine. He only knew that when he answered that phone, something inside him had answered too, the part of him that still believed in kindness, even in the middle of the night. That night, a single father's small act of compassion had unknowingly set in motion a story that would change two families forever. The week after that strange midnight visit, Liam couldn't shake the image of Maya and her baby. Every time he tucked his daughter into bed or passed the baby aisle at the grocery store, her tired eyes and trembling voice came back to him. He told himself he had done enough, he'd helped, comforted, and left. That should have been the end of it. But deep down, something in his chest felt unfinished, like a page left half-written. He spent his evenings wondering if she and little Eli were okay. The old Willow Creek complex wasn't a safe place, and Maya's situation was fragile. On the seventh night, as he sat on the couch with a cup of coffee gone cold, his mind finally decided for him. He got up, grabbed his keys, and drove across town again. It was just after sunset when he parked in front of the building. The flickering hallway lights still buzzed like before, and the air carried the same heavy stillness. He knocked gently on apartment 4B. No answer. He knocked again, louder this time. For a moment, he thought she might have moved out. But then, the door opened a few inches, and Maya appeared. Her face was pale, her hair tied messily, her eyes swollen as if she'd been crying. "Maya," he said softly. "It's me, Liam, are you okay?" She didn't respond right away. Instead, she stepped aside wordlessly, letting him in. The apartment looked different now, emptier. Some boxes were stacked in a corner. The baby's bassinet was missing, replaced by a folded blanket on the floor. "They're taking him," she finally whispered, her voice breaking. Liam froze. "What? Who's taking him?" "Child Services," she said, her voice trembling. "They came this morning. Someone must have reported me, maybe the landlord or a neighbor. They said I'm not stable enough to care for Eli. They said I can get him back once I prove I can provide a safe home, but," her voice cracked completely. "I don't even know where to start." She sank to the floor, shaking. Liam's heart twisted. He knelt beside her. "Maya, listen, you can get him back. You just need some help." She shook her head fiercely. "No, you don't understand. I have no job, no family, no money. They're right, I'm not stable. Maybe he's better off without me." Liam took her hand gently. "Don't say that, you're his mother. That means something. You love him, that's where everything starts." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "Why do you care?" she whispered. "You don't even know me." He hesitated, then said quietly, "Because I know what it's like to lose someone you love and feel powerless to stop it." Maya looked up, meeting his eyes. He rarely spoke about his wife, but now the words came like water breaking through a dam. "My wife, Claire, she died after Emma was born. Complications. One minute she was fine, the next," he exhaled slowly. "For weeks, I couldn't even hold Emma. I thought I'd fail her. I was scared, lost, and alone. But one day, a neighbor showed up with food, helped me clean the house, watched Emma so I could rest. She didn't have to. She just cared, and that small act saved me. He smiled faintly through the sadness. I guess I'm just trying to return that kindness. Maya stared at him, her lips trembling, and then she broke down, burying her face in her hands. Liam didn't try to fix it this time. He just sat beside her, silent and steady, letting her cry. Sometimes people didn't need rescuing, they needed reminding that they weren't invisible. Over the next days, Liam made it his quiet mission to help her rebuild. He drove her to local aid offices, found community programs that supported single mothers, and even helped her fill out job applications. When he had to work, he left notes of encouragement on her door. You're doing great. Don't stop now. Slowly, something changed in Maya. Her eyes, once heavy with defeat, began to carry a small, cautious hope. Liam started bringing Emma along sometimes. The first time they met, Emma clutched her stuffed rabbit shyly, but when she saw the baby pictures of Eli, she smiled. He's so tiny, she said, giggling. Maya laughed for the first time in weeks. He is. You'd be surprised how loud he can be, though. From then on, the three of them spent afternoons together, Emma drawing, Maya filling forms, and Liam fixing little things around her apartment. It wasn't glamorous, but it was healing. The emptiness in that small apartment slowly gave way to warmth and laughter. One day, Maya got a call from the social worker. After weeks of effort, they agreed to let her have supervised visits with Eli. She cried when she told Liam, "I couldn't have done this without you," she said, gripping his hands tightly. He smiled softly. "You could have. You just needed someone to remind you that you can." When Maya finally saw her baby again at the Child Services Center, Liam and Emma waited outside in the car. She came out an hour later, holding Eli against her shoulder, tears streaming down her face, but this time, they were tears of joy. She whispered, "He remembered me." He smiled when I said his name. It was a moment that etched itself deep into Liam's heart. Weeks passed into months, and life began to settle into something beautiful. Maya found part-time work at a local cafe. Liam helped her move into a safer apartment. Emma adored baby Eli and often asked if he could come over for a sleepover. Maya would laugh and say, "Maybe when he learns to sleep through the night." One sunny afternoon, Maya showed up at Liam's door. She was dressed neatly in her new work uniform, holding a small framed picture, the three of them sitting in the park, sunlight spilling across their faces. "This is for you," she said softly, handing it to him. "Because that night, when I called by mistake, I thought it was the end. But you showed me it was just the beginning." Liam looked at the photo for a long time before smiling. Sometimes, the wrong number connects the right hearts. She laughed gently. "You really believe that?" He nodded. "I do." That evening, as the sky turned gold and purple, Emma tugged his sleeve while setting the table. "Daddy, is Miss Maya coming to dinner?" He chuckled. "Yes, sweetheart, she's family now." When Maya arrived, carrying Eli in her arms, Emma ran to hug them both. The house filled with laughter, the smell of food, and the soft hum of music from the kitchen radio. It was simple, but it was perfect. As they sat together that night, Liam, Emma, Maya, and baby Eli, there was a quiet understanding between them. None of this had been planned. Life had simply dialed one number wrong, or maybe exactly right. After dinner, as the children slept, Maya looked across the table at Liam. "You know," she said, "that call, it was meant for my brother. But if he had answered, I don't think I'd be here now. Not like this." Liam met her eyes and said softly, "Maybe sometimes, the universe dials who we need, not who we want." She smiled, a real, radiant smile this time, and whispered, "Then I'm glad it called you." Outside, the night was calm. The city hummed softly in the distance, unaware that inside a small home, a broken family had found its missing pieces in the most unexpected way, through one wrong call, one right heart, and a single act of kindness that changed everything.